The moment Emma Sterling accepted that dare at the rooftop party, laughing as champagne bubbled in her glass and her friends cheered her on, she had no idea she was about to destroy the one person who would teach her what love actually meant. She thought dating the quiet, unremarkable Daniel Chen would be nothing more than a 3-month social experiment, a story to tell at brunch, proof that she could make anyone fall for her charm but standing in her empty apartment 6 months later, mascara streaming down her face as she clutched his goodbye note. Emma realized with devastating clarity that some games cost you everything worth having it started on a Friday night in late September when Emma's best friend Maya proposed the challenge during their weekly gathering at Skyline Bar. Emma Sterling was known for being untouchable, the girl who had dated investment bankers, musicians, even a minor celebrity chef, always remaining emotionally distant, always in control, always the one who ended things first. Maya, slightly drunk and mischievous, pointed across the coffee shop below where a man sat alone reading a worn paperback, his glasses sliding down his nose, his sweater slightly too large. That's Daniel Chen. Maya explained, he works in my building doing something. With data analysis, nice guy, completely invisible. The challenge was simple. Make him fall in love with her in 3 months, then walk away clean. Everyone laughed. Emma accepted if you believe in kindness and second chances. If you think people deserve better than being treated as experiments in someone else's story, please hit that like button, leave a comment below, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means everything, and this story will remind you why genuine connection matters more than pride. Emma approached Daniel the following Monday. With calculated precision, she engineered a meeting at the coffee shop, pretended to reach for the same book he was returning to the shelf, laughed at the coincidence. Daniel was awkward at first, stammering through their conversation, clearly unused to attention from someone like her, but there was something unexpected in his eyes, something genuine and unguarded that caught her off balance for just a moment before she remembered this was just a game. She suggested coffee. He said yes, with a smile that transformed his entire face. Their first date was nothing like what Emma expected. Daniel took her to a small botanical garden she had never noticed. Despite living in the city for 5 years, he talked about the different species of roses with genuine passion, explaining how each variety had been cultivated over centuries, how beauty took patience and care. Emma found herself actually listening rather than waiting for her turn to talk when he asked about her work in marketing. He didn't just nod politely, but asked follow-up questions that showed he was genuinely interested in understanding her world. For the first time in years, Emma felt seen rather than simply admired. The second month arrived faster than Emma anticipated. She told herself she was just playing the role convincingly, but the truth was becoming harder to ignore. Daniel had a way of making ordinary moments feel significant. He remembered that she mentioned loving thunderstorms, so during the first October rain, he showed up at her apartment with blankets and hot chocolate, suggesting they watch the lightning from her balcony. He noticed when she was stressed and would send her photos of funny signs or interesting cloud formations to make her smile. He never demanded anything from her, never tried to change her, just offered a steady presence that felt like coming home. Emma's friends noticed the change in her before she did. Maya commented that Emma talked about Daniel constantly, that her eyes lit up when his name appeared on her phone, that she seemed softer. Somehow Emma dismissed these observations with practiced ease, insisting she was simply committed to winning the challenge. But alone in her apartment, she would reread his text messages, study the photos they had taken together, and feel something unfamiliar blooming in her chest, something that felt dangerously close to genuine emotion. The turning point came during their 9th week together. Emma's father, whom she rarely spoke about, had a heart attack. Daniel was the first person she called, the words tumbling out in a panicked rush. He arrived at the hospital within 20 minutes, holding her as she cried in the sterile waiting room, not offering empty platitudes, but simply being present in her fear. He stayed through the night, brought her coffee at dawn, drove her home when her father stabilized. In her exhausted, emotionally raw state, Emma almost told him the truth about how they met, almost confessed everything. But fear stopped her, fear that the one real thing in her life would disappear if he knew it had started as a lie. The 3-month deadline passed without acknowledgement. Emma couldn't bring herself to end things. She told Maya she needed more time to complete the challenge properly, but her friends saw through the excuse immediately. You fell for him, Maya said. Not as an accusation, but as a statement of fact. Emma denied it vehemently. Even as the words felt hollow in her mouth, she continued. Seeing Daniel, convincing herself she was still in control, still playing a role, even as he integrated into every aspect of her life. Daniel met her mother. Over Thanksgiving dinner, he helped her prepare a presentation for the biggest pitch of her career. He was there for Sunday morning farmers market trips and late-night conversations about dreams and fears. He introduced her to his younger sister, who was applying to colleges, and Emma found herself genuinely invested in helping this girl she had just met. Daniel's love was quiet and steadfast, the kind of love that showed up consistently rather than making grand gestures. It was the kind of love Emma had always mocked as boring. Until she experienced what it felt like to be truly cherished, the truth emerged on a cold January evening in the cruelest possible way. Emma and Daniel were supposed to meet for dinner, but he had texted that he was running late. Emma went to Skyline Bar to kill time and found her friend group gathered there, including Maya. Someone brought up the challenge, laughing about how Emma had disappeared into her fake relationship. Emma tried to laugh along, to maintain the pretense, but her heart wasn't in it. What she didn't see was Daniel standing behind her, arriving early to surprise her. Hearing every word, the devastation on his face when Emma turned around was something she would see every time she closed her eyes. For months afterward, Daniel said nothing at first. He simply looked at Emma as if seeing a stranger, his expression moving from confusion to understanding, to profound hurt. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet and controlled, which somehow made it worse than if he had yelled. Was any of it real, he asked. Emma tried to explain, words tumbling out desperately, telling him it had started as a dare but became real, that she loved him, that everything they shared mattered. But Daniel just shook his head slowly. You don't build something real on a foundation of lies, Emma. You don't start loving someone by treating them as entertainment for your friends. He handed her his apartment key, the one she had given him weeks ago. I hope whatever you won was worth it. Emma fell apart. She called, texted, showed up at his apartment, but Daniel was resolute. He told her through the door that he needed to heal, that he couldn't trust her, that knowing their entire relationship began as a joke made him question every moment they had shared. Emma tried to explain that people could change, that intentions at the beginning didn't negate genuine feelings that developed, but Daniel was done listening. The man who had been so patient and kind now offered only silence. If this story is touching your heart, if you're feeling the weight of Emma's regret and understanding the pain of both these people, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment about a time you learned the hard way that people's feelings matter, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you stories that matter. The months after Daniel left were the darkest of Emma's life. Emma threw herself into work but found no satisfaction in achievements that once defined her. She went through the motions of her social life, but her friends' superficial concerns felt unbearably hollow. She finally understood what she had taken for granted. Daniel's presence had made her a better person. He had challenged her to be thoughtful, to consider others, to find meaning beyond surface-level success. Without him, she felt like a shell of herself. Emma began the painful work of genuine change. She volunteered at a community center Daniel had mentioned. She reached out to family members she had neglected. She examined her patterns in relationships and recognized a lifetime of keeping people at arm's length to maintain control. She wrote Daniel letters she never sent. Working through her guilt and shame, she wasn't trying to win him back anymore. She was trying to become someone worthy of the love he had offered. 6 months after their separation, Emma encountered Daniel's sister at a coffee shop. The girl was friendly but cautious, mentioning that Daniel had moved to Seattle for a new job, that he seemed to be doing well. Emma asked her to pass along a message that she was sorry, that he deserved better than what she had given him, that loving him had taught her what it meant to truly see another person. She didn't ask for forgiveness or another chance. She simply wanted him to know that his impact on her life had been profound and lasting. Before we reach the end, if this story made you reflect on how you treat people, on the importance of authenticity in relationships, please comment below with one word describing what you're feeling right now. Your comments create a community of people who believe in growth and genuine connection. Emma never heard back from Daniel, and she accepted that as the consequence of her actions, but his influence remained. She approached her relationships differently now. With honesty and vulnerability, she found purpose in helping others rather than collecting experiences. She learned that the most profound connections were built on respect and authenticity, not games or challenges. On a spring evening, almost a year after Daniel walked away, Emma sat on her balcony during a thunderstorm, wrapped in a blanket, drinking hot chocolate. She thought about the quiet man who had loved her when she didn't deserve it, who had shown her what she was capable of becoming. Tears streamed down her face, not from despair but from gratitude, mixed with regret. She had lost him, yes, but she had found herself in the process. Some lessons, she realized, come at the highest cost, and some people touch your life so profoundly that losing them transforms you forever. Emma couldn't change the past, but she could honor what Daniel had taught her by treating every person she encountered with the genuine care and respect she had failed to show him until it was too late. That was her path forward, carrying his kindness into the world, even if he would never know.